Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fast Flag Facts with John. I'm John, and this is the show where we talk about the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why of flags from around the world. Last week, we looked at what is probably one of the most famous and recognizable flags in the world, the flag of the United States of America. This week, we're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and look at a flag so uncommon that people that live here may not have even seen it before. That's right, we're talking about the flag of Mexico City. The flag of Mexico City is essentially a white field and the Mexico City coat of arms in the center. Now, a lot of flags from around the world, especially ones for cities or municipalities, are a simple field and then a coat of arms in the middle. The Mexico City coat of arms dates back to the 1500s when it was given to the city by decree by King Charles V, also known as Carlos I of Spain. This guy has as many titles as Daenerys Targaryen. He was known as the Holy Roman Emperor, Archduke of Austria, King of Spain, the Lord of the Netherlands, Duke of Burgundy, and a whole slew of other titles. Some interesting things about Charles: he was a member of the Habsburg family, which is one of the oldest ruling families in Europe. I'm talking about a family that's history goes back thousands of years, and the descendants of the Habsburgs still exist, and they're still extremely wealthy. Like a lot of royalty, Charles V was the result of quite a bit of inbreeding, and he had a prognathic jaw, something that was so common in his family that it actually became known as the Habsburg jaw. He also was epileptic and had gout so bad that it eventually crippled him. Now, did he personally design the coat of arms of Mexico City? Probably not. He probably had a servant or a courtier or someone design it, but we don't know the name of that person. So effectively, the original coat of arms was designed by Charles V. Now, the big thing that we're interested in during this time in his reign is the conquistadors. The conquistadors were Spanish explorers who basically colonized much of the New World in the name of Spain. Perhaps the most famous conquistador, at least in North America, is Hernan Cortez. Hernan Cortez sacked the city of Tenochtitlan, which is the Aztec name for what is now Mexico City. I'm going to butcher a lot of names in this episode. I apologize in advance. The coat of arms has been updated a few times over the last 500 years, but it has always been based on that same original design. It seems like the most up-to-date version was designed by a man named Cuauhtemoc Cárdenas Solorzano in 1997. Senor Solorzano is an engineer by training and a career politician by trade. He has been a governor, a senator, a party leader, and a number of other things for Mexico. He's a very busy guy, and he's still alive as of this recording. Now, let's quit dancing around the subject and talk about what is on the flag. As I said, the flag is just a white field with the coat of arms on it. That coat of arms, however, has a lot of stuff going on. There's a blue shield and a yellow castle in the middle of that shield. That castle is being approached by 3 bridges, but the bridges do not touch the castle. 2 of the bridges are being mounted by yellow lions, and the entire thing is surrounded by a yellow border containing 10 green prickly pear cactus leaves. So what's going on in this coat of arms? Well, the blue symbolizes a lake, specifically Lake Texcoco. The Aztec city of Tenochtitlan was built on an island in the middle of this lake long before white people ever showed up on the continent. In pre-Columbian Tenochtitlan, the only way you could get onto this island was to cross 3 bridges. There were bridges from the north, the south, and the west. The bridges could actually be picked up and removed if the city needed to defend itself. Now, the lions on the coat of arms represent King Charles in specific and Spain more broadly. This dude loved lions, and you can see lions on most of his coats of arms that represent all of his different titles. In essence, what we have here is a reconfiguration of common Spanish heraldry symbols to represent a newly colonized city. The castle represents the city of Tenochtitlan, and the lions are stepping over the defenses and digging their claws into the castle. It's almost like, ha ha ha, we've overcome your puny defenses and we have taken over your city. The coat of arms is literally a symbol of Spanish dominance over the native Aztecs. To add insult to injury, the pears that surround the coat of arms are an ancient important symbol to the Aztecs. Very old codices and writings show that the prickly pear was like a shorthand symbol that represented the city. As a matter of fact, the name Tenochtitlan comes from the Nahuatl word meaning the city among the prickly pears. So having the cactus leaves border the coat of arms is both a way of kind of exotically embellishing what would otherwise be a fairly traditional European coat of arms. It's also a way of appropriating the symbols and the cultures of a conquered people. very rough stuff going on this flag. So when did all this sacking take place? When exactly was this coat of arms created? Let's go back to Hernan Cortez. Hernan Cortez originally arrived in the Americas in February of 1519 and slowly made his way across the continent through what is most of modern-day Mexico. He eventually arrived in Tenochtitlan in August of 1519. To make a very interesting and long war story short, Cortez eventually captured the city of Tenochtitlan and destroyed the Aztec Empire after he captured their ruler, a man coincidentally also named Cuauhtemoc, and he did this all in August of 1521. Cortez then installed himself as the ruler of this new Spain. He was the ruler of Mexico City until 1524. The newly ordered coat of arms was decreed on July 4th of 1523 and was first displayed in the city on December 17th, 1523. Over the next 500 years, the coat of arms was used on and off as a symbol of the city. After the War for Mexican Independence, it was largely abandoned throughout most of the 19th and 20th century. Obviously, the new capital of a new nation was not too eager to use the symbols of their old colonizers. In March of 1995, as part of a celebration of the 670th birthday of Mexico City, the head of the city government was a man named Senor Oscar Espinoza Villarreal, and he declared the coat of arms once again the official symbol of the city. They also at this time created a simplified black and white version of the flag that was easier to photocopy. They were entering the 21st century and they knew Xerox machines were going to be a big deal. 2 years later, in March of 1997, Cuauhtemoc Cardinez Solorzano added the 10th prickly pear back to the flag, and so the current version with the 10 pairs on it is the most up-to-date version. All right, so where will you see this flag? Honestly, you're not going to see it in too many places. Since Mexico City is the capital of the country of Mexico, you are much more likely to see the national flag of Mexico flown, especially in places like El Zócalo, which is the historic center of the city. Places that you're more likely to see this flag are on government buildings or during press conferences, such as here. But nowadays, you're not even very likely to see it in government places either. And that's because since the mid-2000s, every time there's an election and a new government comes in, the government comes up with its own personal branded logo. So you're much more likely to see the branded logo of the current government of Mexico City flying on a flag, such as this one, which is the current one. Honestly, the place that you're most likely to see the Mexico City flag is on the internet, on a forum full of flag enthusiasts, mostly complaining about how bad it is. So that brings us to why. Why is the flag important, and why should we care? Well, on the one hand, the flag represents a fusion of cultures and a clash of two worlds. There's also a flag that carries almost 700 years of history with it. So in that regard, I actually think it is a better flag than the rotating government flags that have been cycling over the last 20 years. It carries more meaning and has more history to the people of Mexico City. On the other hand, the flag is a painful reminder of a colonial past. It literally depicts oppression of the people of Mexico City by its colonizers. It's also sort of out of date. CDMX doesn't have lions. It doesn't really have a bridge anymore. The lake is mostly dried up. There is a castle, but it is not the castle that is depicted on the flag. This is why I think the flag is ripe for a redesign. I believe that there are no sacred cows in flags. Even though this image is over 700 years old, that doesn't mean that it is untouchable. And I think that a new flag that represents what the city is currently all about would be very welcome. So that does it for another week of Fast Flag Facts with John. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Please leave some comments below. What do you think? Also, please submit your own personal flag designs or your own theme song designs to this email right here. This is a great way that we can turn this into a fun collaborative show. Next week, we're going to look at another city flag. This time, we're going to look at the flag of Tokyo, Japan.